Is EFT just another woo-woo trend, or is there actual science behind it? Let's be honest. If you've ever heard about EFT tapping, the emotional freedom technique, as a way of reducing your stress and anxiety or overcoming limiting beliefs, you might think that just sounds really weird, this idea of tapping on myself to feel better. Well, that's what I want to talk to you about today. Is EFT just another woo-woo trend, or is there actual science behind it? I am Lauren Nicole, a skeptic turned EFT trainer and practitioner. So, tapping on the body, it looks weird. It can feel, and if you've never done it before, it can feel unusual. And, it's different. It's different than typical talk therapy. But it blends Eastern ideas like the meridians and the flow of energy in the body with modern psychology. Skepticism is valid. I will say that when I was first introduced to this technique, I was very, very skeptical. It sounds weird. How could tapping on yourself possibly help? But there is a lot of science behind this work. And it is this practice of tapping on certain points. They're acupressure points, similar to acupuncture points, but we're applying pressure instead of like inserting needles if you were to go to an acupuncturist. And this has been shown to downregulate the amygdala. The amygdala is the part of the brain that controls fight, flight, or freeze. And I often use this example of a fist. If we pretend that my brain here, this part of my brain is this part of my fist. Information comes up the brainstem to that prefrontal cortex where we make good, sound decisions. Now, when we're dealing with chronic overwhelm, chronic anxiety, chronic pain, what happens? The amygdala, we'll pretend that's my thumb, starts to fire off. When that amygdala is firing off, it's sending cortisol into the body. So information's coming up the brainstem, trying to get to that prefrontal cortex, but it can't get there because this alarm is going off, sending cortisol into the body. So tapping on the points sends a message to the amygdala and says, hey, amygdala, you don't need to be making all of that cortisol. So slowly that prefrontal cortex can come back online. So now we can think more clearly, feel more grounded, and make good decisions, and feel better in our bodies. The studies have shown, the science has shown that by tapping on these points, it sends this message to the amygdala and it reduces the amount of cortisol by up to 43%. That's a really, really big number, 43%. That was a study that was done by Dr. Peta Stapleton. She's based over in Australia and has done some really, really amazing work. So there's sometimes people will say, oh, it feels like it's just magical, right? I mean, sometimes I've even said like, oh, it just feels like magic, but it's not magic. It's that these shifts that you're feeling are rooted in nervous system regulation. So just because it feels miraculous doesn't mean that it's magic. There's science behind it. And so EFT is this body-based practice that really helps to have this connection, to create this connection between the mind and the body. So whether you are, spiritual or science-minded or both, this is a practice that can be really, really, really helpful. You don't have to believe in energy work for this to work, because there is this science that's helping you. So if you are a skeptic, I invite you to get curious. I invite you to give it a try. Tap along with some of the videos that I have on here. There are tons of them to choose from. Or if you are a coach that is looking to incorporate more modalities into your work, tapping might be the next thing to help your clients get to the next level. And if you're curious about learning more about that, I have information about becoming an EFT practitioner and what that process looks like. So feel free to reach out, connect with me via the links in this video, and I'm here to support you however I can. I'd love to hear in the comments, like, are you team woo or are you team science, or maybe a little bit of both? Let me know. Talk to you guys soon.